Mike Rosen from WCCO TV, and it's my pleasure to introduce my good friend Ron Henderson, the Fitness King, presenting Motivation, one word to help change your life.
Welcome to Motivation. I'm Ron Henderson, aka the Fitness King. I'm excited about today's show. As you can see, I have the one and only Steven Schussler.
How are you?
How are you, Steve?
Good. Very good to see you.
Glad to have you on. I know you're
Thanks.
a busy guy, so I really appreciate your time.
Oh, no problem.
Coming out today. Steve, you've had a lot of success over the years, but before we get into what you currently do, where did you grow up and what was childhood like for you?
Well, I grew up in a place called Bell Harbor, New York, or Far Rockaway, New York. They have a couple of different names. And it was a middle-class neighborhood. It was by the ocean, 15 minutes out of New York City, near Brooklyn, Reese Park, New York. Tough place to grow up. New York is not easy.
Okay.
Not easy place to grow up.
Mm-hmm. What was childhood like, per se?
A lot of fun. A lot of baseball, basketball, stickball, which they don't play here in Minnesota, stoop ball, basketball, sports.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
a lot of sports.
Did you get any fights when you were younger?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I got beat up once, which basically changed my life, by a neighborhood bully, and I started lifting weights, working out, and never happened again.
There you go. There you go. And I bet you probably remember the Popular Mechanics magazine they used to have out. The Sand
Oh,
League.
sure.
Yeah. It used to inspire me.
Oh yeah, yeah. I got a lot of inspiration. A lot of inspiration I get comes from either failure or the fear of failure.
Right. Yep. Makes sense. What was the first job you had?
I delivered papers. I lied about my age. I got a job 3 or 4 years younger than you were allowed to, and counted my nickels, dimes, pennies, quarters every week. Drove my bicycle around and delivered papers.
And how long did you do that for? How long?
I did that for a couple of years, 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Good for you.
I was really young.
Good for
I
you.
think it was 8, from 8 to 10, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you're a very creative person. When did that creativity start? How old were you? Do you remember?
8, when I got the job delivering papers. And I had 16 or 17 jobs before I was 16 years old. So I worked, and making money was a real important part of all the decisions I made, whether it was football, baseball, basketball. But my parents were divorced, and we went from living in a big home with me having my own bedroom to us living, my mother and my 2 brothers and I together in my brothers and I had 1 bedroom, and my mother lived in the kitchen.
Wow.
On a cot. Yeah.
Wow.
So we I'd rather have the problems I had than someone else's problems.
There you go. It's a good way of looking at it.
So for me, it was I'm lucky.
Yes.
Every day I'm grateful, and I'm lucky for what I have, for what I've gone through. I think it's made me a better person,
I agree.
and it's definitely influenced everything I do.
I agree. And you said you had basically 10, 14, 15 different jobs.
Yes.
Give me a couple of those other jobs that you had.
Oh.
I think it's important because people see you as a success,
Sure.
but people don't realize what you went through.
Oh, sure. I made pizzas. I worked for making pizzas and in a pizzeria. I sold hot chocolate at Shea Stadium. I used to hitchhike to Shea Stadium, which was in Flushing, New York, from where I lived. I did concrete work, step work. I had my own painting company called Quality Painting.
Okay. Was it quality?
It was quality.
Okay.
It was top notch. And so I did a lot of things. I did a lot of things at a very, very young age, and I used to shave the peach fuzz on my face so I'd look older and have it grow in faster.
Right.
Not now. It's we wish we could go in the opposite
I was
direction.
going to say that because that's what I used to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were your parents creative?
Yeah, my mother was a painter, and she was an artist, and she was really, really good at what she did. My dad worked for fabric companies all over Manhattan, and did everything from women's clothing to draperies to Worked in the clothing industry.
Okay.
He was a salesman. So between him selling and my mother's creativity, I think I have a little bit of both.
Right.
Because I'm always selling.
Right.
You're always
selling something.
Always selling.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. When did you develop a passion for being creative?
Well, I think I built a robot in school in the 6th grade.
In sixth grade,
in
really?
6th grade, and I built it out of wood crates and electrical wires and lights, and I had to carry it to school, so I had to put it on skateboards and all kinds of things because it was like 6 feet tall and 4 feet wide, and I think that was my first experience in trying to do something different.
And how did it turn out?
It turned out really well. Shocked a lot of people because it was so big.
All right.
And I like doing things that are different.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as you got older, I know you've had different restaurants.
Uh-huh.
When did you start actually developing the creative side with that, from a business standpoint?
Well, I went to a camp, Island Lake Camp in Storuca, Pennsylvania, and I was a waiter. My parents couldn't afford to send me to camp, and so I went to summer camp, and I worked my way through summer camp as a waiter. And then I taught water skiing. I learned how to water ski the day before I became an instructor.
Okay.
And I had to lie about that too. I said I was a water skier, and so I've told little fibs here and there to get a little bit further along.
Right.
But the proof in the pudding is when you get whatever you achieve, you have to work it. You have to make sure it's a success. So it's one thing to go out of your way to get those jobs, but it's another thing to make them work.
Right. I like that. Folks at home, you're listening to Mr. Steve Schussler. All right. Here you are. You've had all these different jobs, and again, people see you now, but nobody knows actually what you went through. I've known you for a long time. I'm learning some things that I didn't know.
Yeah.
But the important thing about motivation is to motivate people to take that next step in their life.
You bet.
You've done almost everything out there, it seems like.
Well, I've done a lot. There's still a lot more to do. We've just started a charity, which I'm really fond of.
And what is it? Let's talk about that.
It's called Superheroes with Super Kids, and it's about providing a 2.5-hour experience for kids with terminal cancer, their doctors and their family members, something that they'll never forget. And we have laboratories where we create all of our theatrical experiences. We have Rainforest Cafe, which we sold to Landry's, T-Rex, Yak and Yeti, and the Boathouse, all at Disney. What we want to do is take our theatrical experience and our successes with the places we have at Disney and instill them in this charity we created, which is a 501(c). And it involves a Batmobile and Batman and 17 other superheroes that are full size.
You got a Batmobile?
Yeah, we bought a Batmobile.
I want to ride in the Batmobile.
You got it. You got it. And the whole idea is to give a child a 2.5-hour experience for him and his family and for his doctors, his caretakers, that he'll never forget.
Right.
And that when he's sitting in that whole hospital or he's getting therapy and he's getting treatment and he's not out playing with his kids, he's got a gift bag from his experience with a Batman watch and with all kinds of paraphernalia and a big smile on his face from the experience that he had. So we want to provide something for someone who we know is terminal, but is still living and trying to enjoy as much of life that him and his family still have. And I think that's important.
I like it. How did you come up with that? Because, and I'm asking this because I used to go down to the Children's Hospital.
Sure, that's who we've made a deal with.
The
Children's Hospital and the Children's Cancer Fund in St. Paul. And,
how did you get out of it without crying? Because I literally broke down.
Well, I almost cried thinking about it.
That's what I was going to say.
Talking about it. There's a really big guy in town who's a really class act, comes from a really class family, and his name is John Polat. And John happens to have something like an $8,000 Batman outfit made out of leather and beautiful, and he loves giving back to the community. He has Folds of Honor, which is another charity that he has, and he's going to be our Batman. And it's a long process what the kids are going to go through with Batman and the experience that they're going to have, but it will be something that nobody else in the country is doing and nobody else has. I'm real proud of it. We've been working on it for a year and a half. We put a great deal of creativity in it.
Yes.
And we're excited about that.
And you should be. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I like giving back.
I love it.
And I want to give back not by writing a check.
Right.
I want to give back by giving what we do best,
Good for you.
theatrically and experientially. So I'm excited about that.
Good for you. When is that going to start?
It's going to start in about another month. The Batmobile that we bought is been completely taken apart. It's a ground-up restoration. It has fire and flames that come out of the back of it, machine guns in the front. It's one of the coolest things you're ever going to see.
And where are they building this? Where?
It's across. Well, we have our.
Such a place on Winnetka?
Well, we have 7700 Highway 7, which is a warehouse,
Right.
which we create. We call it a laboratory. And across the street, we have Galaxy Drive-In.
Right.
Actually, Galaxy Drive-In is going to be involved in it because we're going to get a police escort with the Batmobile to go across the street and have an ice cream cone at the end of a dinner that's planned. So it's a real elaborate thing for kids that are having a
I
tough
love
time
it.
in life.
I love it. You got a good heart.
Thanks.
You're a good man. You have a good heart.
Thank you.
Okay. Let me ask you this question.
Sure. Have to give back.
You have to give
Philanthropy is one of the
There you
biggest
go.
things in life. Philanthropy, they say that philanthropy increases your lifespan. Philanthropy increases your chances of beating cancer. Giving back is the most important thing that you
I
could
agree.
possibly do. And people don't understand how it heals.
I agree.
It heals, it prevents sickness. They say that your smile is infectious,
Oh, yeah.
and it's one of the most important things that you have.
Oh, yeah.
Giving back is right up there.
Oh, yeah. And you always have a wonderful smile on
Well,
your
thank you,
face.
Ron. Thanks.
No, you do. I love it, and if there's anything I can do,
Yes.
love to be a part of
Well,
it.
we're going to have you over as soon as we're done. We'll show you what we're doing. I'll introduce you to some of the families and the kids and get you into the experience.
Yeah.
It will be hard not to cry, though. But it makes your heart feel good, and like I said, it's going to make you live longer.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree. Because we have, and I told you earlier, you knew I was diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Yes.
And I don't look at that as a negative. I met a couple people down. I was able to help these people, pray for these people. I have a friend now.
You got a lot of people that are praying for you, too.
Yeah, exactly, and I know that. But that experience really helped me, and I looked at that as I said, things happen for a reason.
Yes.
I didn't look at it as a downer at all.
Good for you.
And being very positive,
Good for you.
kind of like you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you do, Steve? What do you do when you're working on a project, but the motivation isn't there? Who motivates Mr. Steve Schussler?
You know what I learned a long time ago growing up? That nobody takes care of you but you.
But you, okay.
And that's the God's honest truth. I mean, I have a wife, you have
Yeah.
a wife.
Oh, yeah. Amen.
We have families and we have close friends, a lot of close friends. But at the end of the day, if there's a test,
Right.
okay, there's only you.
Yeah.
And once you realize that, and I learned that when I was 8 or 9, that's why I worked full-time. I worked for a florist. I worked as a truck driver. I've had more jobs
that.
than Carter's Got Pills. Yeah, but I got a lot of respect. Some of my best friends they're truck drivers. They own companies. They're little people. They're not big people.
Right.
And I have a whole variety of people that I call my friends. And I've had lots of failures, and people say, there is no failure. Well, there is failure.
Right.
You can't be a success unless you
Yeah,
fail.
I know.
And that's huge. And people don't understand it. But people today have this entitlement issue. I never had an entitlement issue because I never had anything to be entitled to.
Right.
So I've worked hard. I still work hard. I love to work. I actually love to work.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would do.
When you love to
if
work,
I
you're
wasn't
not working.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
You're busy, but you're not working. There's a difference.
You bet. And I just wrote another best-selling book called It's a Jungle in There, Inspiring Lessons, Hard-Won Insights, and Other Acts of Entrepreneurial Daring. And I talk about my failures in the book because I think it's really important for people to understand that yes, it's good to say failure is not an option,
Right.
but at the end of the day, you're going to fail. And it's how you get up from that failure. It's what you do with failure to make yourself and other people around you a success
Yes.
that determines who you are.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Keep talking. I like it.
Yeah, well, I talk about failure a lot every day. I fail at a lot of things. Most of the things we do, thank God, are wind up being successful because we don't stop. So the advice I give people that are entrepreneurs that are looking to know what to do, I don't have the funding. I didn't have the funding. I turned my house into a tropical rainforest. I begged and borrowed. I worked full time at 3 different jobs to build the tropical rainforest in my house. Every night somebody would come over. Every day somebody would come over and say, "Hey, why don't you get a real job? Why don't you wake up and get your proverbial crap together?" And I'd look in the mirror, and I got home and I'd say, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Am I crazy?" Like they're saying. Out of my, and tears would flow out of my, and then you know what? I'd beat myself up the next minute and I'd say, "You're psychotic. You're fine. Just get up and ride that bike again." If you ever rode a horse, you fell off the horse, you get back on the horse. You got to keep going. Never, ever, ever give up, no matter what.
Right.
No matter how many times you fall, no matter how many times you're a failure, you need to become a success.
Right.
You need to become a success.
I remember being in your house before the rainforest, and I remember walking into your house. I was like, "There's no room in here."
There's no
You had
room.
that big statue there.
Yeah.
You had all your macabres, all your birds.
Yeah.
And you're right. It was like a museum, but there's no room in your house.
There's no
now,
room.
you turned that around into the rainforest.
Yes.
I love it.
Thank you.
love it, and I love
Thank
it
you.
because so many people out there.
Well, I lived in it, so I was totally absorbed by my dream and totally committed. Now, there's a lot of people that think I should have been committed, but I was committed to what I was doing. That for me, there was no way, no matter what, I wasn't going to make it work. So every time I failed, every time somebody said no, every time, no is yes waiting to happen. That's a real important thing to remember. No is yes waiting to happen, because no really is a 4-letter word. It's a terrible word.
Right. And folks at home, what I love about my guest, Mr. Steve Schussler, is he actually is living the life. See, a lot of people I hear motivationals or inspiring speakers, they do a lot of talking. You're actually living the life, and they come up with these sad stories to pique people's interest. Some of it is actually false. You have lived this life. You're a hard-working person, hard-working. So is there a website that they would go to even find out about your charity as well?
Sure. The website for our office is www.schusslercreative.com. That's SCHUSS as in Sam, LER, and then the word creative, CREATIVE.com. Schussler Creative is one word. And you'll see all the restaurants that we've created. You'll see our laboratories. Our offices are laboratories. We have one concept we've been working on for over 25 years. It's a Chinese concept. It's pretty incredible. Famous Dave Anderson can tell you something about that. I know that you're going to be interviewing him, and he'll tell you a little bit about that, because he's got a great deal of interest in it too. And so we're creating every day. We go into our laboratory. We put a lab coat on, and we create.
Right.
Yeah.
I love your energy.
Thanks.
What would you say to somebody out there right now that maybe they have a dream? Maybe they have something that they created. Maybe they have something that would be, how can I say it, the barbecue person's ultimate dream to help them barbecue better. As an example, I'm looking at this example. What would you say to the person that has a dream, Steve? And there's a lot of people out there, but they don't have the funds to actually realize it.
Well, I didn't have the funds.
So what would you tell them?
I would tell them that you got to find a way to make it work. Be different from everybody else. Stand out in the crowd. I tell people all the time, if you have a name tag, wear it on your right side, not over your heart. At Disney, they wear it over their heart, and that's pretty cool. But when I shake your hand, I'm looking straight ahead. If you wear it over there, if a woman wears it over there, you're looking across her chest to another place. You're shaking somebody's hand. It's always straight on. So there's a lot of little things that you can do to change your life, change your presentation, change the way you are. Funding is always one of the most important things. But if you have a great concept and you have a great plan. Because most people don't have a business plan. You need a business plan. You need to show somebody how you're going to make money, how there's a return on ROI on investment. But people don't want to hear your pipe dreams.
Exactly.
People want to know that your pipe dreams were matched with a business plan. Everybody has pipe dreams. I have pipe dreams. They don't mean anything until you make them work.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Let me ask you this. Do you have a bucket list? Everybody talks about the bucket list.
Sure.
You've done so much. Do you have a bucket list?
My bucket list is I'm improving the way I live life every day. Giving back, starting this charity. I've lost 30 pounds. I'm getting back into shape. I've had a shoulder operation. I had the rotary cuff, so I'm getting back into it. And I wake up every day with an attitude is, how can I be a better person? How can I give back more? How can I change someone else's life as well as impact my own?
Right.
And every day I'm doing that.
Right.
Every day.
I love it. Is there, looking back over the last, let's say, 30 years, is there anything, Steve, that you would have done differently if you could?
Oh, absolutely. There's a million things. I'm not like some of the politicians that never apologize.
Jukebox, maybe?
Jukebox Saturday Night was great. It was a huge success for 6 years.
Right.
I don't like what happened on the second floor. I gave the place away at one particular point to another company that did some things with it that for a day that I wasn't necessarily proud of.
Sure,
but I mean, you know what? Everybody makes mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
And what I've learned is that being a good person, giving back, doing the best job you can every day, praising the people that work with you and around you.
Oh, yeah.
I would tell you that my team has made me who I am. And I surround myself with people that are better than I am. A lot of people are scared to do that. You need to surround yourself with people that are 100 times better than you are. Not only do you absorb a lot of their energy and a lot of the things that have made them better, but surrounding yourself with people that are better than you, just instantaneously, through osmosis, makes you a better person.
Right. And I can just feel it right now. I really can. I'm serious. It's contagious, folks. It's contagious.
It is contagious.
And I've been wanting to have you on this show for a long time, and I really appreciate you coming out. You're such a busy person, but you have so much energy. And
thanks, Ron.
I love your energy.
Thanks.
Okay. And with that note, in the next 3 years, again, you're working on a charity.
Sure.
Where do you see you're going? Are you going to have some other restaurants? What are you going to
there's no question. We're in the
years?
process in our laboratories of creating brand new concepts. One is around women in air travel. We have another concept called Gizmos, Gadgets, and Gears, where everything is about kinetic energy. Everything moves. All the pictures on the wall, they're all built by professional artists, and the tables and everything has movement in it. And there's a lot of new things that are coming, and I'm really excited about it. You better wear your glasses because the future looks bright.
There you go. And the secret to your success, if you could say it in one word, what would it be?
Never, ever give up, no matter what. No matter what, never give up. And share your success with others. Give back. I think it's really important to give back no matter what. And improve yourself. You're never too old to learn new tricks. Exactly. You're never too old to learn, and you're never too old to give back. Most people think that philanthropy is giving away money. Philanthropy is giving back. It has nothing to do with money.
Exactly.
It could be helping someone that's blind across the street, helping your neighbor walk their dog, calling a friend when they're sick, calling a friend when they're not sick.
Right. I agree. No, I agree with it. 100%. I agree with it. You're talking
Harvey
about...
McKay, by the way, has taught me a lot of that. Harvey McKay also taught me a lot about the book publishing business and shared with me a lot of philosophies that's really made me a better person.
Right. And I agree with you. When you were talking about giving, I think a lot of people feel like, well, I have to have a lot to give. I give with whatever I have. When I go out with somebody for lunch, people think, I say, it's not that I have any money, but I always treat. That's what I want to do. That's my way of blessing that person.
That's right.
Not based on how much money I have.
Yeah, that's
it's just it's an attitude. And the last 2 friends that I've met in the last year and a half, I met them because they were lying at Caribou.
Sure.
And I said, I got your drink. Well, you don't get. I said, no, I got your drink. Why would you? I said, I want to bless you. And now those 2 people are my best friends.
Isn't that great? Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So just wherever you're at,
Well,
give.
for all those that are listening, God bless you. I hope that, and I know that you're going to wipe that cancer right out of your body.
Yeah, amen.
And I'm excited about your attitude and how you
I'm already
handle
doing it. I'm already doing it. I'm already doing it. And I have a technique, Steve, that I call catch and release. I had a guy the other day that was having a conversation, and I said hi, and the person said he didn't want to talk to me, and I said, what's up? I'm having a bad day, don't talk to me. And I was thinking, I'm writing a new book right now on customer service. I was thinking,
Nice.
I'm going to give you a copy of my book, because that person had something happen to them before they saw me, and they said their day was wrecked. That person did not wreck my day, because I catch it. In other words, I acknowledge it, I release it. Because
Listen, I can
stress,
get
but can't
mad,
affect.
and 5 minutes later, I'm kissing somebody.
Right.
And
Yep.
then that's the way you got to be. And, people say, well, why do you get mad? Come on. When you're passionate, you're a passionate person.
Oh, yeah.
You get passionate about being upset, you get passionate about being happy, you get passionate about giving. You are just passionate.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. Listen, I like to say passion plus ambition yields success.
Yep.
It pays.
I agree.
P-A-Y-S. Passion plus ambition yields success. It pays. You can't have one without the other.
That's right. Write that down. What is it?
P-A-Y-S. Passion
P-A-Y-S.
plus
I love
ambition yields success. It pays. You got to have passion and the ambition to use the passion.
I love that. You got 60 seconds. What would you tell the viewing audience that, again, is watching the show, they're listening to you, they're saying, you know what, it makes sense. What could you say in 60 seconds? Really, I just want to motivate people to take that next step in their life. A lot of people
I
are
think you got to
frustrated.
write stuff down. I think a lot of people, they have dreams, but they don't write it down. And you write it down, you can read it. And when you read something, it's like when I write a letter, when you write a letter, I got 25 pieces of paper on the floor. The letter gets written 25 different times. Then I show it to someone and they read it. Then I read it out loud. And then I change it again before it's sent. You got to have the passion to do things right. Sometimes doing it right is repetitious. It's reviewing things. It's taking the time to make it right. Be a pro. It's not too late.
Yeah. I love that. Folks, on that note, I want to just thank my guest, Mr. Steve Schussler, for coming on Motivation and all that you do. I want you to stay fit, stay blessed, and keep watching Motivation. We're going to see you next time. Nice job.
Thanks.
To book Ron Henderson for your next event, call 612-386-8178 or send an email to ron@fitnessking.com. That's ron@fitnessking.com.